Okay, hi guys, this is an innovative way of defrosting a freezer. This is the best way. I've tried all methods. This is the best and the safest and the quickest and most efficient way of defrosting a freezer. So here we've got a freezer, normal freezer. It's got a bit of ice at the top and it's got a bit of ice in between all the shelves. And what we're going to do is we're going to defrost this. The reason why I say this is the safest way is I'm going to use something that most people probably have in their home, and if you haven't you can always get one, which is just a standard DIY steam stripper. And you'll see the reason why this is so safe and so quick is because it only uses hot water. So what I'm going to do is I want to just fill this up, and I'm going to just show you how easy it is. So if you just follow me around, we'll just fill this up with some. We're just going to fill this up with some hot water. I always just suggest hot water. Fill it up with some hot water, and then what we'll do is we'll plug it in, and then what we'll do is we'll wait for it to heat up. And when it's heating up, I'll just show you how easy it is to defrost the freezer without causing any damage to the freezer. The reason why I say this is so good, as you'll see, is because you're not using any electrical appliance. People use things like heaters, they use hair dryers, they use hot bowls of hot water. Any electrical item by the freezer, because you've got water dripping, is always going to be a danger. So if you use something like this, it only gets to the temperature of water. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be plugging this in, and I'll be back when the steam comes out. So what I've now got, I've now filled my steam stripper, and I'm just waiting for that to heat up. Let me just show you what you need. Obviously you need to turn the freezer off, that's pretty important. And we're going to be just taking all the drawers out. And what I'm going to have, I've got a pair of gloves just to protect my hands against the steam, don't want to burn myself. I've got an old towel to collect some of the water on the floor, a kneading pad for my delicate knees, sponge of course, and a bowl to collect the water, and that's basically it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put together the steam stripper. Now with a normal steam stripper, you get the steam stripper, you get the hose, and of course you get the pad that goes on the wall to take the wallpaper off. But you don't need that. What we're going to be using is we're just going to be screwing the hose onto the steam stripper, and the steam stripper basically, as you know if you've ever used one before, all it is a big kettle, with the only difference that it doesn't turn itself off when it boils. You've got a lovely long hose, and the great thing about the steam stripper is because it's designed to produce steam, you've got a great hose here, so the electrics can be a distance from the freezer, and you can keep everything safe and not electrocute yourself. So what I'm now going to be doing, I'm going to just wait for that to heat up, and I'm now going to just be taking the drawers out, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here we can see, you can just see it's just starting to boil now, and you can hear it. And because of the cable on this particular one, in fact most of them, they're concertinaed, which means that they don't really get hot. In fact, just to prove it, I can hold this with my bare hands and it doesn't actually cause any problems. But obviously I don't want to put my hand in front of the steam because that's what causes the heat. But I'm going to wear gloves anyway in the aim of health and safety. Now, you can see we've got the steam coming out the front there. Okay, you do not really need to use a scraper, but I've got one anyway just in case, because clearly what you don't want to do is damage the freezer. So I've got the steam coming out here, and you see this over here. If we just kind of zoom in a little bit, you see the steam, the solid ice here. That, if I put a bowl of water in here to try and defrost this freezer, it would take hours. So with steam, you'll see we've got the steam, we get a bowl. I put the bowl underneath, you can put it any way you like. I'm going to just put it on this one, I'll put it on that one anyway, and watch this. It's like a knife through butter. So, of course the freezer will take a while to reheat, but just watch this. As soon as once this starts getting going, this ice will just break off in chunks. And the other beauty about using steam is that you can get to places that you wouldn't be able to. For those people that want to use a hot water, or they want to let it defrost naturally, there's always bits of ice that get stuck in there. The steam will get to places that you wouldn't normally. So you can just watch how this breaks off. It's like the defrosting of the glaciers. I've got a tail down the bottom just to catch any drips which happen to bypass my method of capture. As I say, once this starts getting going, this is really quick. And not only that, but it's really satisfying watching all that ice break up. One of my big concerns when I used to do it by other methods, I used to use hair dryers and I used to use heaters. Not only do you get electrics too near the water, but also I'm always used to be worried about the fact that a hair dryer will provide heat that I'm never quite sure how hot it is, and it probably will damage things like the delicate electronic components of the freezer. Because this is steam, this steam can't get any hotter than obviously 100 degrees, and for that reason it's not going to damage any parts of your fridge or your freezer. And just look how that goes. That's all dripping down fantastically. And what I'll do, and you know, obviously you get chunks coming off like that, and you can get right in the back there and get rid of all the big chunks from your freezer. Obviously this is a particularly difficult part to defrost because it gets right underneath and you can't really get to it. Try not to pull the bits off until they become loose. Just use the steam just to cut through the water, and there they come off. And if you just have a look in there, you can see how all that ice really quickly will just defrost and just drip through. So I can put my bucket, I can put my bowl underneath there, and I can just get all of that ice defrosting, and it's just so quick and easy, and more than that, it's quite satisfying just to watch. The other benefit of doing it this way, because it is so quick, is as soon as you've defrosted your freezer, you can simply put all the trays back in. I don't worry about putting the trays into a different freezer or wrapping them up in freezer bags or in ice, because the speed of getting rid of the ice on a freezer like this is so quick that the food doesn't defrost in the meantime. And if you want to use a bit of a scraper just to make sure it's loosen some of the big chunks, you can. And just look at that, all that ice just dropping through. Okay, so we're just going to finish doing the top bit, and then we're going to come back and do the other shells, which of course will be a lot quicker and easier because you can actually get to them. Okay, so as you can see, well, look at all the ice dropping down here. This is so quick and easy. And if you're systematic by it, all this ice will just disappear without damaging any of your components of the fridge. So we're going to take all of these off. Of course, your design of freezer may be one whereby you can take all the shelves out and then it's just one complete freezer compartment. When I did my mum's the other day, her freezer was so chock full of ice that you couldn't even get the drawers out, and had to use the steamer to even just get the drawers out, which is something you wouldn't normally want to allow your fridge or your freezer to get into that position. And of course, most freezers these days, like this one, which is a good freezer, should be anti-frost. But of course, if you put food in which is slightly warm, wet, and you leave the door open maybe too long, it will get iced up, even though they're supposed to not get iced up. And if you can just look at that, look how clean that's coming. And you just go through all of them in turn and catch all the water as it goes through. Okay, and then we're just going to finish this one off, and then we're going to go down to the ones below. Okay, so you can see that I've just done that top bit. What's that taken me? That's probably taken me about maybe 6 minutes just to do that, and that was a different one. Now watch this. Just watch this ice just melt away. Just completely melt away and break off. I've got a bucket. When I show you this bucket of water, which is just from the top shelf, you'll see how much water this has collected. So look at that. Look how easy that is just to drop off. And look how clean that is. So that's that shelf done. Let's move down to the next shelf. And as I said, if you try and do this using a scraper, you'd be here for probably most of the morning. And also, you would probably be damaging many of the delicate parts of your freezer. So look, all these bits, look underneath here, so watch all these bits, just drop off. Look at that, how amazing is that? Okay, and it's as simple as that. And look at this, if you just look at this bucket of water, all of this, in about, say, 6 minutes. And we're just going to just do all the others like this. I've got a sponge at the bottom, and then we just wipe the freezer down, and that should be the job done. As I say, all of these are different designs, but I've never found a freezer that hasn't been suitable for this method of defrosting. Okay, and here we're just finishing off, and as you can just see how amazing all the ice just drops off so quickly that hopefully you can all see this. Just drops off. And the other beauty about using a steam stripper is anywhere you can get this hose, it's only a small hose, anywhere you can get this hose, you can just get to all the ice. See how easy it just drops off, leaving nice, clean surfaces. And if I was a little bit more systematic, then I'll be able to make sure that I catch all the ice in my bucket. And there it goes, all in there. And we're just going to come back after I've cleaned out the rest of the freezer, but it's so easy. Okay, so there you see, I think we've been about 17 minutes, 15 to 17 minutes. And just have a look at that. That is now totally clear. I've just dried it out with an old towel and obviously with a sponge. And if you look down there, you can see the amount of water and ice that's come out of there in about 15 minutes, leaving this untouched and totally clean. And as you can see now, I'm going to be putting the shelves back in, and that's the job done. So I think you'll find this is the best way to defrost a freezer. Tell me if it's not, if there is a better way, because I'll tell you now, I haven't found one. Anyway, thank you very much for listening and for watching, and watch out for some of my next, Tony Lampert, next innovative and money-saving DIY and building tips.